Well, my goodness gracious indeed. Sophie Cunningham has broken the internet in multiple ways over the last day.
I did not think it was going to be this hyped. I did not think it was going to be this hyped and have this much of a change. And like, I'm saying this, I always have to say it. I want to shout out Sophie Cunningham right now.
The WNBA fined Sophie Cunningham, and she responded by walking into a game wearing a shirt so savage it humiliated the entire league.
Sophie came sauntering into the Chicago Sky game wearing a shirt that went viral. Well, here we are. She's now released a little video and some multiple images, and today she put out this statement. I have the meats at Arby's.
This wasn't a tantrum. It was a calculated move that flipped a $500 fine into viral fame.
And Sophie Cunningham gets fined $500, $500 by Kathy Angle Braindead and the WNBA for speaking out against officiating on TikTok.
Massive brand deals and the most iconic clapback in league history. So how did one t-shirt turn Sophie into the WNBA's biggest PR nightmare and marketing genius? Let's break it all down.
But somebody who has benefited immensely from Caitlin Clark and being on the Fever is Sophie Cunningham, who continues to see her star rise. You know, Sophie walks in with a shirt, an Arby shirt the other day, and that goes viral. Her moment throwing JC Sheldon to the floor goes viral. Now she's got pro wrestling promoters reaching out to her to try and line up a deal. It just goes to show you Sophie's spunk, her energy, her willingness to stand up for Caitlin Clark, and her overall ability on the court for such a high-profile team has risen her star power.
Sophie Cunningham has never been afraid to speak her mind. And when bad officiating in the WNBA got out of hand, she said what every fan was already thinking. After getting elbowed in the head by Olivia Nelson-Ododa with no foul call,
Clark on that possession.
after getting grabbed by the neck by a Sparks player with, again, no whistle, Sophie had enough. So she posted a TikTok. In it, she roasted the WNBA refs, calling them slow, stupid, and useless. And it went viral. Over 1.3 million views in a matter of hours. Fans were loving it because this wasn't just Sophie talking, it was Sophie speaking for them.
What's her TikTok on now? This has been 3 hours. So in 3 hours, she's getting 7,000 Instagram followers. Sophie Cunningham. Oh my God. She's now at 850,000 followers. It's been 3 hours. She's gonna gain she's gonna be on 1 million followers. She was on 307,000 followers. She's now at the 7.9 million likes on TikTok. Her last TikTok that she posted got, I don't know, her pinned one, 6.7 million views. Sophie Cunningham is likely gonna gain 600,000 to 700,000 TikTok followers.
For every player sick of getting fouled without protection. For every fan tired of watching the league ignore its own problems. But what did the WNBA do in response? They fined her $500.
Man, I thought we could have a little fun right before the game starts. We have Sophie Cunningham getting fined $500, man, for making this slick TikTok about the refs. Yo, it is hilarious. We are about to get all the way into it, man.
And that's when Sophie made her power move. Instead of backing down, Sophie showed up to the next game, a nationally televised matchup between the Fever and the Sky, wearing a shirt that said, "Hot girls eat Arby's." It was pink, it was loud, and it was completely savage.
Right here, and I have no idea what she got paid for this, but hot girls eat Arby's right here. I decided to turn that down. I don't know if that's a song that's going to get copyrighted or not. But she put this out, and this entire thing has broken the internet.
But this wasn't random. This was planned. Months earlier, Sophie had posted a video reviewing Arby's food and loved it. That was the setup. This was the punchline, because when Sophie rocked that shirt on Barbie night, the internet exploded. TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, all over it. The moment instantly became iconic. Arby's corporate account called her an unapologetic queen.
Officials Arby's social media site answered her and said, "Hell yeah, you do." Oh, man. That's hilarious. That the official Arby's site social media account would say, "Hell yeah, you do."
Her teammate Lexi Hull chimed in, "She has the meats." Fans were reposting the image like it was a rallying cry. That shirt wasn't just an outfit, it was a message. I don't care about your fine, I care about being real. Now here's where it gets crazy. That $500 fine. It became the best investment Sophie ever made.
So I feel like it was just a buildup of things. There was a lot of stuff. Tensions were high. That was the moment for Sophie to commit a hard foul, and she did that. And most of the world agreed with her. Most of the world was fed up with everything that was going on the court. They're fed up with the refs. They're fed up with the physicality getting to a point where players can get injured. And a lot of people were like, you know what? Finally, there's an enforcer on the court. People were calling her a hero, and her jersey completely sold out overnight. And this was something that I predicted.
After her TikTok roasting the refs, she gained over 1 million followers. After the Arby's shirt went viral, she gained another 700,000 in just 3 days. Her TikTok went from 300,000 to over 1.7 million followers, almost overnight. Jersey sales through the roof. Brand deals flooding in. She didn't just make back that $500. She turned it into millions in exposure, influence, and income. All because she refused to stay quiet. All because she dared to be herself. Sophie didn't get punished. She got paid. It didn't stop there. Sophie's savage stunt caught the attention of Jeannie Buss, owner of the Los Angeles Lakers and founder of Women of Wrestling.
Ever heard of somebody named Jeannie Buss? You may be like, who? The Lakers owner? Co-owner? Yeah, that Jeannie Buss. She has offered Sophie Cunningham a spot with WOW. You may be like, what's WOW? Women of Wrestling. Right here.
At a Comic-Con panel, they called Sophie the enforcer of Caitlin Clark, someone who protects the game's biggest star and brings heat with every move. They said, "We'd love to have Sophie Cunningham in WOW."
By the way, they were all at Comic-Con this last weekend, right here. But the owners of WOW, Women of Wrestling, have offered Sophie Cunningham a position. After this just came out over the last couple of days, but it stems back from the incident we were talking about with the Connecticut Sun. Indiana Fever forward Sophie Cunningham drew notoriety when she defended her superstar teammate Caitlin Clark with a flagrant foul and subsequent skirmish against the Connecticut Sun in June. This prompted Women of Wrestling founder and co-owner David McLean speaking at the panel at the San Diego Comic-Con on Friday to posit that Cunningham would be a fit for wrestling. It comes after Cunningham issued a savage response to a WNBA fine on a TikTok video.
Think about that. One shirt got her an invite into pro wrestling, not as a gimmick, but as a real crossover personality. She's not just a WNBA role player anymore, she's an entertainment brand. All because the league tried to shut her up with a $500 fine. Meanwhile, what did the WNBA get out of all this? Nothing but bad press, angry fans, and a big fat reminder that they still don't get it. Instead of fixing officiating, they keep punishing players for calling it out. Instead of embracing personality, they try to silence it. And every time they find Sophie Cunningham, she turns it into fuel, into fire, into money. This isn't a player problem, it's a leadership problem. Fans are starting to say it out loud. Let Sophie speak. Fix the refs, not the players. The W can't afford another PR disaster like this. And Sophie, she's making it rain. She said it herself. Keep the fines coming. I'll keep making it rain. Sophie Cunningham turned a $500 punishment into the most iconic branding move the WNBA has ever seen. She wore a shirt, she took a stand, and she exposed just how out of touch the league really is. Now she's more popular than ever, more marketable than ever, and more untouchable than ever. If you're still watching, drop "Hot Girls Eat Arby's" in the comments. Do you think Sophie went too far, or did she just show the league what real power looks like? Let us know. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because this story, it's just getting started.
Beginning to suspect the Indiana Fever are a better team than the Chicago Sky. Don't ask me why I believe that or think that. It's just a sneaking suspicion that I have. I mean, it could be the fact that the Fever spank them every time they play. Could be that. Maybe it's that. I mean, you can date back to last year, but this year, the Fever spanked the Sky in the season opener. Both teams at full strength. Fever smack them.
Caitlin Clark didn't even step on the court. And Angel Reese's Sky still got humiliated. On their own floor, on their biggest night of the year, inside the United Center, the game they chose to be the main event. It turned into a public execution.
So yesterday, the Fever played the Sky in what was honestly one of the closest games the Indiana Fever have actually had with the Chicago Sky. In over a year. This is the closest game. Because if you guys don't know, the Indiana Fever and the Chicago Sky played 3 times in the month of June last year. One was a 1-point win for the Fever, one was an 8-point win, and one was the Nalissa Smith disaster class, where she let Angel Reese basically take over a second half.
So what happened when the Indiana Fever walked into Chicago's house with no Caitlin Clark and walked out with a 93-78 demolition? Let's break down the full humiliation and why this so-called rivalry was just exposed as a fraud.
Defensively, getting after it, steal and score. Offensively, looking aggressive, but efficiently putting the ball in the hoop as the Indiana Fever walk in to Chicago, the United Center, no Caitlin Clark, and they walk out with a W, 93-78. The Chicago Sky, no Angel Reese, no Haley Van Lith. Half their team was out, but it did not matter because our best player was out. So you know what the saying is? Next man up. And we decided to show up while Camila Cardoso decided to no call, no show.
The media loves this storyline. Clark versus Reese, Iowa versus LSU, Indiana versus Chicago. They frame it as Magic versus Bird, the rivalry that will save women's basketball. But when you look at the numbers, the truth is ugly. The Fever have now beaten the Sky 6 out of their last 7 meetings. This season alone, they've won 3 straight by 77 total points. That's not a rivalry. That's domination.
But like Angel Reese tweeted that out, and then the Chicago Sky posted this one right here. We don't care about none of that Sky on top. Back to our original programming. Since that game, this has been the funniest rivalry ever. So, since that game, I just want to see, is there no... Oh, you can't see the history. I'm just going to have to get the Fever versus the Sky up. So, yesterday's game was actually the closest of them all. You might be thinking, Mick, how is that the closest? How is that the closest game these guys have played since then? It has been. So, if we want to look at the box scores yesterday the Indiana Fever were poor. I thought they were really poor. And honestly, in this game right here, they threw it away. The one the Sky won was just a absolute second half disaster class.
And this game just made it undeniable. Chicago's front office went all in. They booked the United Center, their biggest venue, just for this game. They themed it Barbie Night, built around Angel Reese's brand, filled the arena with pink, launched new merch, hyped it on socials. And Angel Reese didn't even play. The main attraction was in street clothes. And the Indiana Fever turned her big night into Fever Night.
this time around, both teams dealing with injuries. Sky really decimated by injuries, to be fair. Rachel Banham carrying the slack a lot for them. But Caitlin Clark still out for the Fever. And once again, the Fever spanked the Sky. So no matter what context, what part of the season, however you want to frame it, the Fever are a better team than the Chicago Sky, and the Fever are starting to really find their stride. They're really starting to find their stride. Obviously, they're able to get into a little bit of a rhythm without Caitlin Clark, knowing Caitlin Clark is going to be out for a minute. That's something Sophie Cunningham talked about after the last game. And good thing for them, they still have Kelsey Mitchell in the backcourt.
They didn't just win, they owned the building. Fever fans took over, memes exploded, and the Sky got steamrolled.
Caitlin Clark spent 20 minutes signing autographs. She made her way 2/3 of the arena. She signed literally hundreds of autographs. And if you guys didn't see that game today, there were as many Fever fans as there were Sky fans. So Caitlin Clark is not playing the game. And by the way, people didn't know whether or not Caitlin was playing that game until the very end. There are hundreds of fans that were there to see Caitlin Clark play on the off chance Caitlin Clark would be able to sign something. She was there. She spent 20 minutes autographing everything.
With Caitlin Clark out, the pressure was on Kelsey Mitchell, and she delivered one of the best performances of the entire WNBA season. 35 points, 12 of 19 from the field, 7 out of 10 from 3.
Kelsey Mitchell, 7 for 10 from the three-point line. Off the start, 8 points quick. You knew, Kelsey Mitchell's hot today. This might be her game. Let's keep the hot hand in. Let's keep the hot hand going. Let's set her some big body screens, get her open. Kelsey Mitchell, she did it all. 7 for 10 from the three-point line. She got to the rack. She got to the free throw line, carving up the defense, looking like a little snake, how she just slithers in and out of that defense. Kelsey Mitchell, salute to you. Late in the game, as the Chicago Sky were thinking to themselves, we might actually come back to the game. Kelsey Mitchell says, slow your roll. Slow down there. You thought you were going to come back in. No, you're not coming back into this game. Not now, not ever.
That's 70% from deep on a night when the Fever needed a closer. And she didn't just put up numbers, she made franchise history, joining Caitlin Clark as the only players in Fever history to have 35-plus points, 5-plus assists, and 5-plus threes in a game. On Barbie night, it became Mitchell night. But Mitchell wasn't alone. Michaela Timpson had a breakout night, 14 points on 6 of 8 shooting.
Michaela Timpson, she outplayed Camila Cardoso. Offensively, outplayed her. Defensively, outplayed her. Camila Cardoso, 11 points in the first half. What'd she have? 1 point in the second half. She disappeared, did her own little magic trick on Barbie night. And for my next act, poof, watch me disappear.
Chloe Beebe, signed just days before on a 7-day contract, dropped 8 points in 10 minutes. Aaliyah Boston dominated with another double-double. 14 points, 11 rebounds, plus 6 assists and 2 blocks. Even Lexi Hull came through in the clutch, knocking down shots every time Chicago tried to build momentum. And the best part, Caitlin Clark was in street clothes the entire game, cheering on her teammates, signing over 200 autographs, and still managing to be the biggest star in the building. That's what real star power looks like. Meanwhile, Chicago looked lost. Coach Tyler Marsh admitted post-game that his team wasn't executing and kept making the same mistakes. Rachel Baum literally said they had a screw-it mentality going into the game. When your own players admit they weren't mentally prepared, that's not a rivalry, that's a meltdown. Let's be real, Chicago didn't just lose a game. They lost control of their own narrative. This night was supposed to belong to Angel Reese. The theme, the merch, the message, all designed to spotlight her. Instead, Fever fans renamed it Fever Night. TikToks and tweets clowned the Sky. The most viral moment wasn't a Chicago highlight. It was Caitlin Clark on the sideline being mobbed by fans while her teammates ran up the score. This game told us everything we need to know. The Fever are building something serious. With Clark out, Mitchell steps up. The rookies perform, Boston anchors the defense, and everyone buys into the system. They've now won 3 straight against the Sky. Home, away, it doesn't matter. Chicago, on the other hand, has lost 5 in a row. Their playoff hopes are collapsing. And this supposed rivalry, it's just making them look worse every time. When Caitlin Clark returns, healthy, rested, and locked in, the Fever will be a nightmare for any team in the East. They're already third in the conference, just 2 games behind Atlanta. They've learned to win without her. Now imagine them at full strength. Caitlin Clark didn't even need to play, and she still dominated the night. So if you're still watching, drop Fever Night in the comments and let the league know this rivalry is officially over.